Hey guys, I'm Jessie, and today we're gonna go on an adventure. Today I want to talk about probably one of the most popular tropes in fantasy books and recommend a few books to go along with it if you like this trope. And that is the epic quest. I mean, the epic quest has been a thing for as long as I can remember. Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, like our classic fantasy epics, Beowulf, like they're all quests, and the hero or heroes has to go somewhere, do something, take on this quest to save the world. And that has been a common thread in so many fantasy books for years. And honestly, I eat it up. I want to go on an adventure with these people. I would probably die, but I also want to go on the adventure. Like, it always sounds like so much fun and so dangerous at the same time. And today I am going to recommend a few of my favorite fantasy quest books for you. I mean, can we talk about a fantasy quest without talking about Lord of the Rings? Like, I don't think we can. It is just, in my mind, one of the first fantasy quest books like that I have ever read, and I loved it. Granted, I read Lord of the Rings back in like high school, so honestly, I probably didn't wrap my head around a lot of it, but I need to reread it. I still love it. The movies are fantastic. The book is fantastic. Like, top tier fantasy quests with all the tropes that you just love. And I mean, we can't talk about a fantasy quest without talking about the daddy Lord of the Rings. So, moving on from that one, we're going to go to a YA book, and that is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. This is a YA fantasy duology. I have not read book 2 yet, but book 1, we follow our main character as she is on a quest to figure out her magic, what went wrong during this trial that she took, and how she can kind of save her people. And she meets up along the way with pirates and mermaids. And honestly, this book gives me adult Moana vibes, and I'm here for it. If you like Moana, if you like mermaids and pirates, and some romance and magic, and a good old quest on a pirate ship, pick this one up. Next up, we have The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is definitely a quest. We are following our one main character, Isun, as she is on this quest to find her daughter. Her husband has murdered her son and kidnapped their daughter. And she is on a journey to find them. She has forbidden magic, and that is why her son was killed, because he does as well. And the husband freaked out and killed him, and then took off with the daughter, who also has this forbidden magic, but he, for some reason, couldn't bring himself to also murder her. Thank you, terrible father. This is such a dark adult fantasy book, and we are following multiple POVs, and honestly, all 3 of them have a quest of their own. We're following this young girl as she is going from, her family home to this new place where she's going to be trained in her magic, and then also a 20-something-year-old who is on this quest from the government to help different people around the country with some of their tectonic plate problems. We'll call it that. But this book, it's so hard to explain, but it is one of my absolute favorites. It's a pretty dark book, though, so just be warned. It's dark. Part of it's written in second person, but if you can get past that, the writing style is beautiful and amazing, and the story is fantastic, and I just love everything about it. And we get 3 separate quests, and beautiful. Moving on, the next book that I would love to join this quest is The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. We are actually following in this book a group of middle-aged, almost 50-year-old-ish people as they are on this quest to save the world a second time. these people had, kind of been the chosen group, and they saved the world 25 years prior to the start of this book. And, things are happening again. Maybe the big bad's not really dead, and they just kind of have to reconnect, go on this quest a second time to save the world after they already saved the world 25 years ago. And I love that. For one, we're following older protagonists, which I love. And it's just such a good book. It is a fantasy standalone. I highly recommend you pick up The Bone Maker. We got bone magic. We got multiple kinds of bone magic. It's just a fantastic book. And it's got a really great quest that I would actually probably die on, but still like to go on. Another one where I would most definitely die, but also just want to join this group is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is ultimate quest fantasy. This is a rock and roll inspired Dungeons and Dragons-esque get the band back together to save one of the bandmates' daughters book. Kind of like The Bone Maker, we are following older protagonists, and at one point, these guys were the top band, the top mercenaries, and now they're retired, and they're older, and they are, got sore backs and bad knees, but they gotta get the band back together for one last tour to go save one of their bandmates' daughters. And this is actually hysterical. So don't go into this one expecting super serious anything, because the amount of jokes in this, and if it's not your type of humor, then this might not be for you. I know some people didn't like the humor. If you like classic rock and all those references, there's a character called Neil the Young. The amount of music references, 70s classic rock, everything is fantastic about this book. This is one of my few tabbed up little beauties right here. So yeah, pick this one up if you like classic rock, Dungeons and Dragons, and want to just have a good time laughing at these old guys, because it's fantastic. Then we have Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhorse. This is a epic fantasy set in a pre-Columbian world. And we do follow multiple characters, but one of our characters is on a quest because he believes he is the chosen one. And he has to go from his hometown to the main city to kind of save his people, reclaim their power, and overthrow a corrupt government. We are following multiple people, but that is the quest element of this book, and I absolutely love it. He has this relationship with another main POV character, and I love them because they kind of go back and forth, but they kind of have this really good banter, and you also kind of see them as love interests, but it's not a romance plot line. It's just so good. Definitely recommend this one. Book 2 is coming out really soon this coming year, so get on it. Another one that I don't actually have because I read it on ebook is Hall of Smoke. And this is one that I liked but didn't love, but I know a lot of people love it. If you like a more Norse Viking inspired world, you will really like this one. We are following our main character as she has basically seen her entire people be slain. She is somehow spared because she was up at the temple, comes down, every member of her family, her whole village is slain, and she is trying to basically figure out what happened. She's trying to challenge the gods, and she has, kind of the power of her god that she worships on her side, and she goes on this big epic adventure to basically figure out what is going on and why these raids are happening and what is breaking down in their system. And while it isn't my favorite book, it is a really good one. And there's actually a companion novel coming out soon. This is a standalone, but there is a second book, but it's a companion, not a direct sequel. So I will definitely be picking that one up. But if you want a good Norse mythology inspired quest, definitely pick that one up. And finally, my final favorite quest book of recent is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is hysterical because I wasn't the biggest fan of Malice, but I absolutely love Shadow of the Gods. Like, this book elevated John Gwynne for me. We are following, again, a bunch of different POVs, but one of our main POVs is Orca, and she is a mom, kind of former warrior you kind of pick up on. And after an event in her town, she is forced to go out and find her son, who has been kidnapped, and she is just on the warpath. Like, you are not stopping her. She doesn't need your help. Like, she is on the warpath, and she is going to find her son, and she is going to save him. And that is her epic quest. And again, we're following multiple POVs, and there are some other quest type storylines, but hers is the main one that I really thought of when I was like, quest fantasy, Shadow of the Gods, Orca saving her son. Like, it's fantastic. Go pick this one up. I think we just got a cover for book 2 that's coming out in 2022, so I'm really excited about that. So definitely check this one out. All right, those are all of my personal favorite epic quest fantasy books as of recent. If you have read any of them, let me know, because I would like to discuss those with you, what you think, if you liked them, if you didn't like them. And if you have any other recommendations of epic quest fantasy books, let me know in the comments so I can check those out too. All right, well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. My name's Jessie, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!